All right. Hello, people listening. Kenzie and I are sharing a mic this episode because we have two wonderful guests, the owners of Nelson's and the Whit. Would you want to introduce yourselves?
Yes, it's Nelson's. So, you know me. A lot of people know me. Nelson's.
Just like Cher, he's got the one name.
I love that.
You don't need
Yeah.
to know my last name.
And TJ, I'll have you grab the mic a little
Yeah,
bit closer.
okay.
It should be able to come all the way up.
Well,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Rip it up.
I just don't know.
Yeah, that one's a little newer.
Okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's our first time using that kind of mic stand
Okay.
because
There it goes.
Yeah, the goal is that
Okay.
it'd block people less, but it might be more hassle than it's worth.
Okay.
That should be
Is
perfect.
that better? Okay. All right. So I'm TJ. I'm the general manager and also the co-owner of Nelson's and the Whit.
What's it like owning an in-person store where the food is perishable? Because as you can see with clothes, I'm
Yeah.
like, I get to take my time. If I had like, I got such as Valentine's Day coming up, like you get all prepared for an event. It's like, it seems like really quite difficult. You've been doing it for a decade or so though? Like,
You got it right.
Yeah.
Yes. We are going to celebrate 10 years in July 2025. We started in 2015, and 10 years later, we're still in the neighborhood, and I feel we've been blessed with the whole community, the whole support, and thank you for keeping us.
absolutely.
Always. Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta grab it. I guess
Okay.
you don't have to. Only if it's on. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is tricky. We've never done this. We'll have
Why
to come
not?
up-
You can share.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll squeeze in.
Yeah. So what's kind of up with, I mean, I don't know. That wasn't a full answer to that question.
I know.
Curious.
I can touch on that
Yeah.
too. So as far as like the perishable stuff goes, we utilize the freezer a lot. So we'll get the food prepped and then we can kind of put it in the freezer until it's time to actually cook it. And a lot of like our ingredients can be frozen, like the meat and the fries and stuff like that. It is kind of tricky though, because most of the stuff we make is fresh. Like all of our margaritas are fresh, and that can sit in there for like 2 days at the max. Luckily, we sell a lot of margaritas, so this hasn't really been an issue.
That must have been massive moving from the cart to indoor with like alcohol. My understanding is that with restaurants, alcohol is like the bread and butter.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. So we obviously had to figure out the OLCC laws and what we could do and what we couldn't do. When we first started out, we had like 3 cocktails on our cocktail menu. It was like a printed black and white. And so we've like, really surpassed that. So it's just great to see kind of how far we've come with our cocktail menu for sure.
Is it tricky teaching people? Because it's like when the people who have been there for a year
Yeah.
or so, they know the menu as it expands,
Yeah.
but then someone new coming in learning 20 drinks.
Yes. So, and it's not just 20 drinks. Like our cocktails are like super like complicated. There's several
We know,
ingredients.
we know because we came and filmed some of your employees making something.
Yeah, yeah. So, almost everything you have to muddle, and people come in all the time, like, "Oh, I was a bartender, at such and such," and honestly, until you've bartended at Nelson's, it's really you haven't bartended because our cocktails are honestly, I'm not just biased, but they're like on a different level because they're so fresh and they're so good.
And it's true.
Yeah. So it's as far as teaching people, I really trained our bar manager, John, and my assistant manager, Andy. And so they're teaching the new people. And then before they actually go out on the floor, I quiz them and make sure that they know what goes in each cocktail and how to make each cocktail. It's really ingrained in everyone.
I love it.
Yeah. And they are delicious. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really drink, and we got a couple sips of one. I'm like, ooh, those are.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't drink. I finished it though.
Yeah.
We normally don't drink because drinks are not that good tasting, but like we finished it
Yeah.
after we filmed.
gosh.
I kind of asked Andy, I'm like, what's going to happen with this drink? He's like, you can try it. And I was like, I'm going to chug it before we go. It is really good.
Yeah, they taste like candy almost. I love them. Yeah, and we have such a wide variety too, and so we've really been on our employees about contributing to the business and getting their own cocktails in there. And so Andy actually came up with his Andy special, which has been selling like crazy. So yeah, it's been great.
And what's it like running a business as a partnership? Because we're partners and
Yeah.
we run primarily digital. You're partners who run a physical store.
That's a good question.
It's a lot. It's a lot to because your entire life at that point.
We managed how to work together. and we find a way together. We can work together. That's why I work mornings, and he is the closing. So and everything works so good. Yes.
Yeah, we've definitely had like our ups and downs. And so like when we just had the food truck, we just could not work together.
I mean,
It
it'd be
just
pretty
did
crammed
not-
in there.
Yeah, yeah. And then we'd go home and like we would there'd be like a fight, and then like it wouldn't just stay at work, obviously, So, but at the restaurant, it's a lot easier. He's ultimately the boss, right? So, anything that he says goes, and if he tells me that something needs to happen, I'll make sure it happens.
So that's fascinating.
yeah.
Because so with video and photo, we're 50-50, but with clothing, because I didn't expect Kenzie to sink all of her money into this as well. And I'm not selling it yet because like if it was a partnership, she would definitely we'd be selling it right now. Whereas I'm kind of biding my time. So it's like, is it interesting? Like just having it where it's not like the 50-50 with photo and video, it's one dynamic.
Yeah.
And, like, it's interesting just life in itself, but definitely like working in any sort of dynamics. Like, do you enjoy not having to make decisions? Like, essentially, I could see that being freeing in a lot of ways too.
Yes and no. So I do get to make a lot of my decisions. He's really kind of stepped back as we've moved to this new location. It's more or less like if he sees something like behavioral wise from an employee, or if he sees something that's dirty, or like prices, that kind of stuff. But as far as like the day-to-day kind of issues, I'm really in charge of, and I get to make those kind of decisions.
You're like the artist. You make the burrito. I mean,
Yeah,
I really
absolutely.
always try to come when you're in the food cart.
Yeah.
'Cause it's just like there's something, and maybe it's the nostalgia partially.
It's 100% true. When he is cooking, there's nothing like, and I tell him that all the time. Like it's magical, it's love, and it just tastes so much better when he's cooking the food. Absolutely agree with you.
How can that not be taught? Like, I mean, it's an interesting aspect of like,
Yeah, it's just love. It's just his heart and soul is put into this place, and it's hard to get other people to feel like that when it's not their business.
Yeah.
So, and he could, because he knows all of you guys. Like, so when he sees you come up to the food truck or the restaurant, it fills him with such joy and such love that he's able to kind of, let that flow into the food.
Beautiful to get to do what you like love. Like clearly, like you have way more sense of community than anyone I know.
Oh, thank
like
you.
you see more people. You regularly have like
I do.
relationships. Like I mean,
I
in
do.
the sense of like friends. I mean, how often do you see friends in life? Maybe once every couple months or so. Like nobody has time to have Friday game night every week anymore.
Yeah,
everyone's
That's true.
too busy in not a good way. But you actually see reoccurring people because it's like convenient in their day to be like,
Yes.
oh, I want to get food.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Yes, it's beautiful. I love the feeling every day to see the loyal who came every day and talk to me like we are friends. I don't see you like you just came to get a burrito all the time. You wanna talk. You wanna, and I love it. The conversation we got with everyone.
Have you ever felt like people put you in a box? I mean, not just because it's a food cart, but like you're like, I don't want to just be like a chef, like you do want to do something else in life, but because a lot of times when I do ventures, people are like, oh, you're the podcast guy, or like you're the blank,
Right.
and it's like it is a part of your personality. When I think of you, I'm like, kind of getting hungry now. It's just such associated,
Yeah, I had to tell you I like what I do, and whatever I still like doing, I do with love. I love to be on the backs. It's a little. I spend a lot of hours. I wake up 5:10 in the morning to be there probably like 7 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday. It's kind of my little house.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I feel like as much as they like love his food too, though, like people come to him for his personality just as much as the food, and so you can't really put him in a box.
Yeah,
you don't know
seriously.
what you're going to expect when you go and see no. I mean, there's
It's my little box.
I feel like you could break out as an unlicensed therapist, not like just like a friend. Like there's something about being around happy people that's like you get to see of like, oh, why am I not prioritizing my life in these ways, or like why am I unhappy in a big box when you can find a way to be happy serving the community in a smaller box. It's like, okay, the problem's not my surroundings at that point. Like it's interesting being around people who are as happy as you are.
Thank you.
It's telling in a lot of ways.
Thank you.
So
Aspirational for sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
What changes would you make going back? Because we're kind of in the process of considering changing the name of our business, but then people start to know the name. It's like Nelson's in the Whit is
Right.
three words.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things about our business. It's like, man, it's long to spell it. You know, like thank goodness you didn't go Nelson's in the Whitaker.
Oh.
That'd be long.
We get that question too a lot from like, what is the Whit? What is the Whit? That's like one of the most common questions. It's
really-
mostly honestly from people out of town,
Oh, that
you
makes
know, and you know, have to go on like this history lesson about like the Whitaker and like where it came from, and so what would we change looking back? That's definitely a pretty big question. Jeez, a lot.
Yeah.
I would keep more detailed records of financial stuff, taxes and like payments and deposits, and really track every single like expense that we've done.
Because you guys have a lot of logistics.
Yeah, there's a
versus,
lot,
Like,
yeah.
we're a lot less. 'Cause, you know, we're not dealing with all the items and all
Yeah.
the staff and all the like things
Yeah.
like that.
I definitely would have chosen to hire other people in the beginning for sure. But it's gotten us to where we are now. We have the best team that we've ever had in our more than 3 years.
Yeah, hiring and firing must be so tricky because especially if you like someone's a friend, but
Yeah.
maybe they're not a good employee.
I've
you
had to
like-
do that before.
Or
It
you
was-
like someone's an
Yes.
employee, but you hate him as a person. Like both sides of the coin would be really tricky.
Yeah, if they're a bad person, they're not going to be working for us.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. So it would just be a matter of time. But I have had to fire a friend before, and I haven't talked to that person since, unfortunately. And that not my choice. But you know, for me, it's business is business, and personal should be kept aside.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's our business, and I got to protect it and do what's best for that. So I don't regret that.
I like it.
Yeah.
Personally, what's it like dating a local celebrity? Like, essentially, like, you must go around. For the first time in my life ever, I went somewhere and some people like had bought clothes there, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't have a way to connect with." Like, I'm like, "We've been trying to like get a hold of you."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, this is what Nelson must essentially experience anytime in the Whitaker,
Yeah.
like any store, you know."
So it's not even just in the Whitaker. It's honestly everywhere. We ran into people he knew at Disneyland.
Oh,
we saw somebody he knew at LAX, Mexico. So it's everywhere. And for the first, 10, 12 years that we were together, I had just gotten used to it. I would just sit there. But honestly, now that I've been in this position for such a long time, people are recognizing me more. And I realize that I mean, like, it's nice to see our customers and our friends and stuff, but I don't like to be recognized all the time. So I don't know how he feels about being recognized all the time. Sometimes he probably just wants to go shopping, without having to do autographs and all that.
Someone comes up to you, "I'm not in the cart, back off." That'd be funny. Just a different person.
No, he's exactly the same. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to be the same. I need to be the same.
The interesting thing that I heard about that compared to earlier, you said you've been together 12 years, but you started the cart 10 years ago?
16.
16.
Yeah.
What do you do when you two, I just think of you two, I'm like, oh, they met in the cart, and it's
Yeah.
like they started it
No.
up, and it's like, so I'm really curious. Yeah.
You go first.
Like, and what was it like starting a business, like,
Yeah. Go ahead, baby.
No, you
Okay.
go.
So, I'll just tell you both of us then. So he worked at Denny's for about 10 years and Burrito Boy for like 15,
8 years.
8 years. Okay.
Yeah.
And I worked at the Wendy's. It's on West 11th. So, we would kind of trade food and like go back and forth and stuff like that. And I worked at US Bank. I've worked at Verizon. I've worked at the hospital, Peace Health. And he really just went from Burrito Boy just straight into doing the food truck.
were you a manager at a lot of those places? Like, you're used to managing personnel?
So I was, no, I was a manager at McDonald's when I was younger. So like 18. I was the assistant general manager, and then I was a manager at Wendy's. So yeah. No, what was I saying? Sorry.
Just what is like taking a leap?
Yes.
Yeah, like financially. and all
So
these-
yeah, so basically he decided to leave Burrito Boy, and he at this time he was just doing Denny's like twice a week, and so you know, he came to me one day and he was like, well, what do you think about doing a food truck? And I was like, oh God, you know,
Oh God.
oh my God, you know, and then I sat and thought about it. And one thing about him is he is always making the correct financial decisions. So much so that I give him all of the financial decision-making power in our relationship too, because I'm kind of the other way. So I was like, honestly, baby, let's just do it.
You take less risks or what? That's so like that's really cool that you say something like that. Not a lot of people are like, I don't make great financial essentially but you did make a good financial decision by trusting and being like, hey, like recognizing like you can't be bad at making financial decisions if you recognize you're bad at it.
No, that's true. That's a good point. There were so many wrong decisions. I was like, Nelson, you're in charge of that now. And so you know, he's taken that and it's worked really well for us so far. So
have you ever had tight times? And I asked not to like put you on the spot, but just because it's like, you know, we're in a tight spot in life right now, and like we're moving, and it's like digital business is very uncertain with AI, which is why it's great to get a gig. I want to talk about like what it's like promoting it in person, like, you know, a lot of that. And but what's it been like kind of getting through those places? Because like it's also a lot of pressure on you, because then it's like just to have all the financial, like, you know, it's an interesting dynamic, but you two are a success story in the sense of a couple who's made it 16 years working together and in making finances. Like, what, you know, what's it been like? What your takeaways?
Your turn.
Nelson, you're the financial person.
I know.
You know, what's it like having all the pressure financially?
What can I tell you about that? I don't know. I'm kind of old-fashioned guy. I have to write down on a piece of paper.
I'm that way too.
Yes, and that's the way I've been doing for so many years, and really works. You need to see how much money are you making a month, how much money are you spending in grocery and anything you go, and, you know, and you need to see
tracking and budgeting,
tracking everything, and when the end of the month you can see how much are you.
Yeah, when you said earlier you track it better, I guess for a long time, like, you know, certain amount of money goes in and out of the till, and it's like if it's busy, especially if tracking like exactly like, well, this much change, like tracking every food order that came in would be like impossible on really busy like rush times. Now with tapping and like cards, it's probably automatic, but before that I'm just thinking like, tracking would definitely fall down the list of.
So again, back to Nelson making a good decision. Since we opened, we only have allowed myself to touch cash in the restaurant, and his best friend of like 20 years, Morgan, and currently Andy, my assistant manager. So the regular servers and bartenders just don't touch our cash. They're not allowed to do any cash transactions. And it's not that we distrust anybody. It's that we don't want to put them in a position, you know.
You have to count the till, and then it's a little off, and it's like, well, do you let it slide?
And
or
then
do you
it's
bring it up,
it's just more stress, you know. And it's just one less thing that I like have to worry about. Again, so I mean, that's a perfect, and we have never had a problem with anyone stealing cash.
Since we started doing that, only he can be in charge of the assistant manager with the money of the till. So everything has been great.
That's awesome.
Because when everybody goes inside on the till, and when you're closing and you are missing $50 or $100, so who are you going to blame? You know, there is 6, 7, 8 employees.
Yeah.
So we don't know. So.
One thing you did have trouble with is a fire a year or two ago. Like, I'm just thinking of your area when you said you haven't had any money taken out. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool that you've like been a business in the Whitaker and like nothing's ever happened, because it is a little bit of like a vagabond, like passerbys that you know, it's an interesting area to have be your kind of core, you know.
It's the best area though. Like it's just such a funky group of people that we love so much.
That's why we're moving. We miss it. We really do. We moved over here. And we're like, it's not the same.
It's not the same. Even like, it's like a microcosm, you know. It's just, we all know each other, and most of us love each other, and it's just a community. And we had the opportunity several times to move outside of the Whitaker, and we said absolutely not.
Ooh, wait, what were the opportunities? Like people come up to you and say, or you find a place that's
We
available
found a
for rent?
place that was, but it wasn't anywhere near.
Changing the name would be hard. You can't.
Yeah, you know, it would be Nelson's on Coburg, or like, you know, so it would, and that would be like if we wanted to expand and like do another location, you know, but like our heart and soul is in the Whitaker. Those people have supported us since we started, and we do whatever we can to help them out as well.
Did you ever have to raise capital in doing start? Because I mean, getting a food cart, I guess
Sure.
money used to be a lot different than it is these days. Everything's very tricky. But just starting a business, it's an interesting thing. When we started digital, we didn't need to because you just need to buy a camera.
Yeah.
But just doing clothes, I'm like at a place in life where I'm just like looking at like what when you say get support, just like what's it been like?
As far as raising capital,
Yeah, or did you ever have to?
he's just been so great at saving.
That's awesome.
He was able to just purchase the food truck outright. I mean, it took probably most of his savings. So it was definitely risky, and it was definitely nerve-wracking for both of us, you know, because at the time I was working at Verizon, you know, I was making okay money. But yeah, and it was definitely scary. We haven't had to raise capital. We've saved and yeah, you know, just the support from the community has really kept us going.
Was it tough taking on the lease on the new place? Because essentially a failed restaurant had just leased it, so.
No, it was not.
No?
We knew we weren't going to be like that restaurant.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
We've
so...
never been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And not to throw shade.
No, we're not
but
saying the name or nothing.
like, you know, I just feel so confident in like what we've created. As far as like, it's obviously the best, you know, Mexican food in town, and I feel like we have the best cocktails in town, and people love coming in there. You know, it's the customer service that we have is just unparalleled. When I go other places, I don't get that treatment like customers do when they come into our restaurant, let alone like opening the door for people or saying thank you for having a good day. I was at a check stand today, and the woman didn't even speak to me one time, and then she just handed me the receipt. I said, thank you, have a good day, and not a single word. Wow. So what I set out to do, I said, I'm going to be the exact opposite of how I'm treated like when I go out in public, and I'm going to treat my customers the way that they deserve to be treated, because we are here because of them, right? So they are the ones that are paying our bills. They are the ones that allow us to have, you know, lights in our home, and like our dogs can have food and that kind of stuff, you know? So, yeah.
True.
That's fascinating where your mind goes when like what money supports dog food and lights.
Well, I mean, that's true though, you know, like just you know, but
I know, but it's just funny where the mind goes when coming in. Because like, Nelson has some really cool shoes when he came in, much like me. He has a couple pairs. It's funny. I'm like, what would you spend money on?
Vacation.
Exactly. Yeah, we do good vacations.
That must be two. It seems like it'd be hard for you to both take time off at the same time.
It was until we found Andy, my assistant manager. Honestly, we didn't trust anybody to run the restaurant for us when we were gone. So last year we went to Mexico for a week, and that was our first time that the restaurant was open and the food truck. So we kept both of them open while we were gone.
Because you went to Europe, you closed
but
down.
we closed for 2 weeks because we didn't have the staff. And so it's, you know, I was definitely like checking the cameras just to make sure you're like, is everything okay? Is it not on fire?
Was it a little nerve-wracking to leave?
It was, but I was in constant like communication with him, and honestly, I didn't need to be. Like, I trust him wholeheartedly.
He's the best.
He really is. Like, he's really just a solid dude, and he's done stuff for us too on like a personal level that, you know, I'll never forget, that kind of stuff. So I trust him absolutely. And I trust our bar manager, John, and all of our employees, really.
Trust is a big thing with business.
It's huge.
Everything you do that's a lot with our work since we're in a service business. Like with photos, that was a one-off kind of like, oh, we're there and then we're gone. But like video work, a lot of the time, we're working pretty intimately with people for a couple days or a week or a month or a year. We just had the neighbor come over. We moved in next door to her. She was the COO of the nonprofit, and we were reminiscing. We'd be working at 3 a.m. at the place. We saw each other every day, you know, but it's like they needed certain things to get made and done, and they brought us on
timelines.
Yeah, kind of because we'd work like that. Like some people, like we like people, and much like you, I really like using business as a way to make friends.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you make connections, and it's a great networking opportunity. Yeah, I mean, the people that we've known or that we've gotten to meet, you know, it's just been awesome. Yeah.
I love it. You said you had to go, and this isn't me rushing the end of the pod, but you said you had to go to the restaurant at like 8. Like, what would bring you to work at 8? Not a lot of people. I guess it's still open.
So it is still open. Yeah. So there was just an employee that we had to talk to about something.
We had time. You
don't. You're fine.
For some reason, I thought the store. We were talking about vacation and the store being closed, so I was like, "What would bring you back to like essentially?" Because we live our work too, and it's just a lot. Like you've been doing it for a decade of having like even when you're on vacation, you're still checking calendars.
Absolutely,
you never shut it off. I guess I was trying to get kind of to that area.
I do when I am on vacation. I don't. I have to be honest. I don't even think about my dogs. When I am on vacation, I having 100%.
Yeah,
wow.
I'm the opposite.
Honestly, that's probably really good and healthy.
Yes,
though.
that's why when he started telling me about like I'm missing the dogs, I miss my. I
got a tattoo with my dog. I miss the crap out of him when I'm not with him. You know.
Yeah, I said I don't miss anything. I am on vacation and I'm having the best time ever.
I mean, I do too. I wish I could, but I'm just such a worrier. You know, I can't.
I relate. I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
there are a lot of similarity.
There typically is. We've met a handful of businesses now that are couples, and it's so funny to see each of them and how they work together. There's always, it seems like, a more creative kind of like artist.
I wouldn't keep track of anything. Like you and Kenzie are similar in the sense that like you'd keep better track. I'm like I would try to I would try to not pay taxes if it were up to me. You know, I'd be like.
That's what I want to do every year, not to pay tax.
Well, I mean, it's just like the tax rate in Lane County is just insane for businesses. They make it really hard to be successful. The Eugene taxes, the county, the state, the federal, it's just honestly, it's really, really challenging to make a profit in Lane County as a business.
It's hard to be. It's like it's not supportive of small businesses.
No, it's not.
And especially the place we're moving into, the rent's the same, but it's a brand new place. We've never moved into a new place. And I asked the person,
they just built it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting.
And so I had to ask the guy. I'm like, is this thanks to like? Because I'm like, normally I'm like the government makes everything worse, especially for businesses.
Absolutely.
I'm like, is this thanks to like them pushing for more housing? And he's like, no, they actually made it so much harder that just to get a permit before we even dug a single or did anything on the house, we paid $100,000 per building.
Wow.
Just in like fees. He said a name of the fee, but I'm like, businesses are like, man, like the government's
it's tough to be a business, and it's tough to start a business, and
with so much money.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't want to get into like a whole tax discussion, but I feel like especially in Eugene, it's like, where are the tax dollars going to? Because I was talking to somebody that's on the 4J school board, and they're basically bankrupt. You know, so
really? That's wild.
That's what I've heard. So honestly,
I feel like that's the whole U.S. just struggles with
that's true.
Public education as a whole.
Well, now that it's getting cut off, I mean, the Department of Education is getting shut down.
Oh, jeez. Anyway, we can.
I know we don't need.
No, I mean, if it reflects on my taxes, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
We don't have kids because we can't afford them.
Sure.
So it's like, I'm like, don't take my taxes and just put them. No. Plus, I'm like, my school experience was not.
Both of ours.
Wonderful.
Well, and I graduated from college in political science. And so now I'm, running a restaurant. So if I could take that back, I would still go because they really teaches you how to think, think critically, like how to evaluate different things and stuff. So I definitely support college as a whole for sure.
Cool. I'm curious, so I guess when I say this is a breakneck away to like 5 minutes ago. What was it like kind of working with us for a photo video gig? Just getting feedback, and more or less, we've never worked with a restaurant.
Okay.
So it's an interesting kind of experience. And also, kind of when we were there, I was expecting you to like really direct people around, but like more or less partway in, I'm like, oh no, like we should like tell some people. Sure. So it's like, it's an interesting thing, like meeting new worker, like we were just like a gig worker at the time, like, yeah, what's it like, and what's it like promoting essentially a brick-and-mortar store?
Yeah, that's a great question.
what's worked and what's not.
Doing all the talking. Okay. Honestly, it was really great working with you too, and I'm not just saying that because we're in front of you. As soon as you guys left, everybody had just nothing but positive things to say. They loved your personality. They thought you were super positive. And as far as like directing people, like I'm not good at being like creative and stuff. So you did a really good job with that. You guys were telling people where to stand. You were telling us how you were going to take the photos. You guys had great ideas for where the photos should be. There was a lot of communication, and people that we've worked in the past are just, just no energy and just quiet.
And it's very intimidating when you're the one actually in front of the camera.
It is.
Like you just kind of see this like black lens and you have no idea what's like behind it. So.
Yeah, no, and I remember at one point you were like talking to me as we were taking photos. So that was really helpful. It's just like little things like that really made it helpple.
Like talking about something other, like non-related?
No, you were talking like kind of like I was a model and you were like the photographer, you were like, oh, that's looking good. No, like this, but do it. You know what I'm saying? Like just a little communication stuff like that was really feedback because we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
We don't know what to do. We're not professional models.
No, but you did it so good last time. I feel like you are this one's the second or third time you're working with us.
First time. This is the first time we worked. I did the grand opening.
You did the grand opening, that was such a beautiful. You did that opening, and that was amazing. And this one, you killing it.
This is definitely
we got so many comments, so many reviews. People are talking about that little videos with employees.
So that one, did you guys hear about Thunder going viral on TikTok?
No.
His video is up to 35,000 views on TikTok right now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
He was charming. He was
very charming, and the gays went wild.
Fun.
Yes, the gays are having at him on TikTok. He loves the attention. So he's just honestly such a great guy.
Yeah, and he loves it. That's for me, and I love the way he knows how to handle.
Yeah.
And he loves it. He's been like so happy about that. But I had to say you guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's
Thank you
your
very much.
work and your work.
And the
whatever
products
you do, guys.
the photos were incredible.
Yes.
I mean, the photo that you sent me, the first one, I changed that to my default on Facebook, and I got like 50 likes within like 10 minutes, and it was a really good photo. Like, you guys are just the best.
But you forgot about me. There is nothing about
Nelson,
me.
You were in and out, bro.
Nelson, you're like, I'm just here just for a second.
Just like a real celebrity.
I know. Yeah, that's the interesting part is all Valentine's based. So it's not really, it's only going to be usable for a couple days. Like next year on Valentine's Day, some of it could be reusable, but a lot of it's like, it was interesting for us. We normally do perennial work where it's like, oh, that's kind of a video that anytime in the next couple of years it could be useful. So it was interesting being like, what do we do if this has to get like all of the, because
it was fun. I liked doing the theme shoot.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
It was cool. No, it was really fun. Obviously, we're going to have you guys back to do, we need to update all of the photos like on our online ordering system. So like the Grubhub, the DoorDash, our website. So
that's great. I didn't know you guys were on Grubhub and stuff.
Yep.
Nice.
We didn't used to be. I finally had talked him into it probably like 2 years into the restaurant. And it's been really helpful, especially like during slow times when people don't want to come to the physical restaurant. They do take a huge percentage out, though. So unfortunately,
like 30% or how much?
25.
That's crazy.
So businesses have to raise their prices on there. But again, I mean, it is a service, and customers do know that they have to pay for services. So
it's really cool that you've managed to not raise your prices a crazy amount.
Right.
But just thinking of eggs, like essentially a lot of your base raw ingredients probably have gone up, I assume.
Everything. I feel everything went up. The meat, the ingredients you have to seasoning everything is over $50. The queso meat is like $400. The queso, the queso eggs went to $140.
Yeah, not down like you know who had said. So.
Yeah, so the prices are really higher. I feel every day the prices are getting crazy.
I feel that way too.
Yeah, and I don't feel I want to change the menu prices yet, but sometimes it's like, what are you waiting for?
Well, we have to go in and edit the document, which is time consuming, and we don't want to piss people
you have
off.
to change the prices on your website, on all the menus, and on Grubhub, on Google menus.
We have to pay the guy who does the menu to change them, and it's
so, but we are trying to manage, not to do anything.
Yeah.
We are going to keep our prices low.
I really love and respect and appreciate it, but it's not sustainable at a certain point if it kept going up. Like, you do have to, but like in the meantime, I'm like, that's really cool of you to not like preemptively or like just way early, just keep upping it like $2 every month. Like some places have gone up where it's like, wow, this is like.
And see, that's exactly what we want to avoid, is we don't want people coming into Nelson's and be like, oh my God, it's so expensive.
It's interesting. Do you start telling people ahead of time, like, yeah, we're going to be raising our prices in a couple months, because then some people would be like interested in coming in ahead, and then maybe it'd hit them less of being like, oh, I was expecting this, rather than going there to eat lunch one day and being like, oh, it's more now. Like, it's an interesting
So we do it I mean, when we do have to raise the prices, it's very small. It's like $1. It's like 50 cents, you know, just on like every item, you know, even if that particular ingredients for that item hadn't gone up in cost, you know, it helps offset the cost of the ingredients that have gone up in price.
Man, there's a lot of decisions and weighing out
every
like possibilities with what you guys
all day,
do.
every day.
Sometimes he wanna talk to me like when he's not working. He got home like almost 11 p.m.
He's like, I'm asleep.
I listening, but my brain doesn't work
at the same time. That is the only time that we see each other. True. So at what point do we talk business?
Yeah.
So we do have to have communication. We only see each other an hour at night, and on Sundays and Wednesdays. So
that's wild.
It works though. I'm honestly, if we're together too much, we're both very strong personalities. And so, but unless we're on vacation, because there's nothing to worry about. So like, you know, when we used to have 3 days off together way back in the day. Yeah. And we would just go shopping, and by the third day we were just like, okay, get me back to work.
It is interesting. I think if I was dating a guy, it'd probably also clash, because there's some aspect of like Kinsey and I think oppositely. So often we're focused on different things. And if I was with someone who's focused on the exact same thing as me, and we didn't have the same idea of it, it's like there's probably a lot of. Is it? That's so funny. Yeah.
Yep. We focus on the things, and we have not very often, but we do have differing opinion, like very strong differing opinions on some things.
Like, you know, it's really hard to, because it's not just like, oh, it's a little decision. A lot of it's like, well, it goes back to this is the success or failure of a business, or it's a small power. Like, it's hard not to get attached to the business ideas.
No, it is 100%. But like I said at the beginning, he's the boss of the restaurant. So I'm going to give him my strong opinion, and I'm going to lay out the facts and the reasons that I believe this will work, you know, and then he usually will get back to me in a day or so and let me know his decision, and then I'll implement whatever his decision is, you know. So
it's good that you guys have a system. Yeah, because we're kind of rolling around like 2 years for our business, and like just learning how to like balance your work life is one whole thing, right, when you first start a business, and then on top of it, it's like, how do you balance it with your relationship and that sort of thing?
You'll get there. You'll get there. You just have to have patience.
Very dynamic, I guess.
It is dynamic, but you'll roll with the punches.
Yeah.
It's a lot of learning. It's once you figure out like what you have to worry about, what you really don't have to worry about, what can wait till later, what needs to be first. You know, it'll come with time.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys found your roles for like what you like to do and what you like.
It's so funny because he owns a little office in the house, and I have my little office.
That's what we do.
And that's your
so
freedom. Yes, it's your desk, it's your space, your own computer.
Yeah.
He has the same thing. So he managed Nelson's in the Whit, and I manage Nelson's Taqueria. So but we both have different office in the house. So that's
We have our own little space. Yeah. That's separate.
That's good.
It's good. Especially when you're like working together and doing everything together.
Yeah.
Like,
but again, we don't spend too much time. So that, it is. But on like Sunday nights when we have the day off.
It almost makes it so you more need your own space. Because that's the whole thing. If you shared space, then you're like, oh, I want to be moving stuff around.
Yeah.
I have to wait and ask them. The 1 hour I see them at night, I have to ask them a bunch of logistical.
And
like, I'm moving.
Pencils.
Yeah. like you have to have your own space where you can just like change stuff around a lot. Is like I really think like the answer to a happy relationship is having a little thing where it's like I don't have to ask anyone anything.
Yep, absolutely. Because we do make joint decisions on the rest of the house, but as far as our office goes, he can decorate it however he wants to. I can decorate mine however I want to. It's just their space, like it.
Do you host people often? It seems like you see people people come to a space of yours all the time when you're out. It almost seems like if I was you, I'd be like at home. I'd like
I don't know if I could
people,
do
it.
I can't do it
because you could just host people at the restaurant. Like if you're having a game night, it's like interesting. Like you already have a space where people come and see you.
I know, that's true. We just recently moved, so at our older house we didn't. But now I've got like a kitchen that I love to be in and stuff, and we're finally inviting like our favorite people in the world over, and there's just something about making food for people like in my home. It's like so like nurturing and loving, and just to see them smile and laughing. Like I love hosting, and just like having like a super chill, like laid back time. And it's been fun. So yeah, we have been hosting a lot. I would say almost every weekend for the past like 2 months or so.
Wow.
That's cool. And that's different from a lot of people. I have this theory that I'm talking to people more and more, but like people are hanging out less.
Yeah.
Like undoubtedly, that's a big part of the podcast is to see people. Do you do a game night or like what's your take? What are your takeaway? You just sit and talk with people?
Yep. So I do like an appetizer, an entree, like a salad, and then like a dessert. And usually I make cocktails or something. Oh, wow. Yeah.
You go all
I
out.
really do. Like I Martha the Stewart the crap out of that.
Yeah, he does. Yeah. I cook all morning because we cook for the restaurant for the food cart. So my brain before 5, 6, 7 p.m.
Yeah,
I don't want to know nothing about cooking.
And that's a good thing too about cooking is like I love that he can go home and like he doesn't have to worry about making something to eat. Like I know that he's gonna have something healthy. He doesn't have to worry about it. He can just warm it up, and that makes me happy. So it's just one less thing that he has to like worry about. So
it's a nice action of love. Yeah,
it really is.
To cook more at home, and we feel that way. We did that last night.
Once you get into your new house, you're gonna be cooking a lot.
I think so.
Yes,
I'm really hopeful.
Yes, no, it's gonna be good. I'm so happy for you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
The new place is going to be... We get a second story again. I didn't know this about myself, but I love a second story.
Because, again, it's like your own space. Like, if there's, like, an argument or something or what, I don't know, So then you can go to the second story, and that's... we have a 2-story, too, and it's almost like somebody else isn't home. You can have your own space.
I like it for strange... Like, looking out, it's like you're in a crow's nest kind of thing.
Yes, that's true, too.
Yeah,
and, like, you can be naked in your house with the windows open, and you have privacy.
Yeah.
Like, you get sunlight, and so you don't have to, like... A lot of places have all their blinds closed.
Yeah.
And you wonder, it's like, it's because if you're changing... and I say that because I change all the time. Like, I try... sometimes I'll, like, try on a bunch of different outfits. And it's like, like, if you see that window, it's completely obfuscated. But, the second story, who cares?
Yeah. No, and we do the same, too. We keep all of our blinds open. But we're just, like, there's trees behind us. So... but yeah, we keep our blinds open too.
I love it.
We're just gonna get a note one of these days. You need curtains.
A big question I have is because you're completely non-digital, like work. Has things not changed much the past couple of years? Because things are changing so much that clothing's partially like I got it to have a backup plan from digital. But it seems like if I had a restaurant, I'd be like, have things changed that much aside from maybe less people paying in cash and more tapping? Or like is business pretty much the similar? Like has life changed a lot in the last? I would say like 3 years.
I don't see much cash. Mostly everybody now use plastic.
I would say I would say like 90% are credit cards. But in the food truck, it's not that often, is it? Okay, I haven't worked in the food truck in 3 years, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's the same. Mostly it's everything is plastic. Right?
Yeah. So I would say that. And we're using, and honestly, we've used social media since we started. And that's how we really got the following out. When we first started, we would put just like self-taken photos of our drinks and stuff, and people would see them on Facebook and they would come in. So we still honestly are utilizing Facebook to...
Yeah, like the marketing of a restaurant seems really fascinating to me.
Because like the 30,000 views on TikTok, it's like it really probably doesn't have that big of an impact on foot traffic,
sales,
you know, because people coming. But it's like, yeah, it would be really cool to have a massive one if everyone knew, because it would be like, oh, I'm going to a famous local restaurant.
So,
you know, there's that aspect of it.
Yes, I agree. However, a lot of them are in Oregon.
Oh, the views.
The comments.
That's awesome.
The comments are saying that they're in Oregon. And it's getting that word out. So it's almost like a billboard. You know, if you read like the business name on like the billboard, you're going to forget about it. But then when you see something, or if you're next to that location, it's going to seem familiar to you.
It's a lot of repetition with marketing stuff.
Yeah. We definitely do... Yeah, repetition for sure. And as far as like the business or the restaurant marketing, there's so much that you can do. You know, I've really been trying to talk him into letting us take video of him cooking, because people would love that. And he has not allowed it. I'm hoping that you can get to him, because if there's somebody that can do it, it's you two.
I know, yeah.
That would be really fun.
But
because that was the one thing missing from the grand opening thing, is there was no cooking.
He won't let us do it, and it's exactly.
I don't why. You know, your secret kind of thing,
no,
or is it more?
No, I don't know what I got so nervous.
I don't know why. Has anyone ever come up to you and been like, Nelson, I don't like looking at you. I don't like interrupt. Like, you get probably nothing but, Nelson, I've been looking forward to seeing you all week. I came here to eat just to see you. That's probably what you get. How would you ever be nervous, you know?
I don't know. I got so easy nervous.
You're someone who should have or like is in a position where most people have bad interactions in life. Everyone I know is like, oh yeah, and like people, so it's really fascinating that even you essentially are like just nervous about certain things.
Yes.
That's
well, it's just that it goes back to like what we were talking about earlier, is just as far as being like in front of the camera, you know, just turns on like a nervous switch for him.
It does.
Yeah. So hopefully we can make that happen though, because that would be so good for the business. People want to see him working his magic. People want to see what Nelson does back there, like how he makes his food so good. And I really think it would be good.
He goes down and kisses every burrito. It's like, oh, it's actually made with love.
Good day, my friend. Have a good, you know. So.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting taking photos of the menu stuff, because it's not stylized. It's like the goal is to have it be objective as possible.
Yeah.
But like the overhead that most restaurants do, it's like essentially of doing, how do you take pictures of of different foods, is going to be a really interesting thing. And like a burrito, it's like you wouldn't want to just take a picture of the outside,
right?
Especially of a wrapped burrito. So it's like unwrapped, but then it's like, will you cut it in half? Like, how we're gonna do honestly a direction, cut it the long way, so it's like an X-ray would actually be pretty. So it's like thinking about a creative, fun way.
That's why you do what you do.
Yeah, I really like thinking about it. Of like, because it's all about like just communicating with someone who you don't see or know. It's like, so how do you communicate? And you want to communicate what's in it and make it look appetizing. So I'm just like, this will be an interesting thing to do.
It's gonna be our next project, so let's get to work. You guys are gonna kill it.
I'm excited.
Yeah, you guys are honestly incredible.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna be making everything on the menu to take photos of, we can film you cooking.
Yes.
And here's the real thing, Nelson, the footage doesn't have to go out.
Yes, it does.
Or like, but to take any pressure off, like we could film it. You could look at it and be like, I don't want that posted.
Okay.
You know, because we're gonna be there anyways that time. It's not like, oh, we're coming just to film you.
Okay.
It's like, well, we're gonna be there while the different things.
What we
gotta
do is
cooked.
not tell him.
No, probably we can do it. We can do it inside in the food cart, because how I feel 100% confidence.
Filming in the food cart's gonna be tricky.
It's
gonna be.
I'm down
crammed.
to try it though.
Maybe a ladder outside for the
there is something about the, I don't know, when I try to help the restaurant, I said, I can't, there is something missing.
It's just how you're not used to it.
Yes.
You got your flow.
Yes, I know how to move. I know how I got everything on the food cart in my way.
Why don't you remake the exact layout of the food cart in the kitchen? Or in the building. Like, imagine like everything's the same.
Big flat grill I had the food cart like this table and put inside in the restaurant. The inside in the restaurant is small, like. Yes.
You'd have to get a whole other grill.
It's tiny to see that little grill, and like the amount of food that our cooks put out is just nuts.
Why don't you cook on the food cart instead? Because it is like, I mean, it's like literally 4 steps, you know, like hypothetically.
Yeah.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah, the health department.
No
like
way.
that.
Even though it's okay to do it.
No.
No?
No. Do you think it is? No.
That doesn't even make sense. But people were just buying food there.
Yeah.
We
It's something
tried-
about
So
the
30
walking
minutes
between
later.
the two.
Oh, but people can eat outside. That's nonsense.
know.
That's the
You can
government.
literally
for you.
eat out in your
I
backyard.
supposed to be years ago you can barbecue outside and sell the food. Now I see so many places barbecuing outside every
Well, Papa Soul
Sunday.
Food used to do that too.
And the food got contaminated when you cook outside.
But that's how people do it in the
And
real
then
world.
I
you know?
start
Like,
to
then no one
move,
gets sick
to
from
move
that,
to
yeah.
the food cart when we used to be on tiny, so we don't have to pay money to fix
Yeah.
the kitchen. And they say no, it's not allowed to
Weird.
put in the food from the food
Yeah.
You
cart.
can bring it to a customer, like out in your backyard. That's
Yeah,
so
exactly.
weird. And like, do you get actually like, do food inspectors come in often? Like, what's
Yes.
Every
twice,
6 months.
Yeah, so twice a year.
do secret people like shoppers or like, you know, like
No,
it's
they're-
interesting. Yeah.
They don't tell you when they're coming. It's a surprise visit. There's no like secret shoppers. The one the secret is the OLCC. You know, they send in decoys.
license.
Do they
Yeah.
send in kids to
Yes.
try to buy? They do. They send in kids to try to buy
They
liquor.
they want to make it obvious that they're under 21. So it's like a 16-year-old. And they'll say,
Beer, please.
no, they'll basically,
Yeah.
can I see the bar, please? And I'm like, do you have your ID, sweetie? You know, and then so that's all you got to do for the OLCC. And they were like, okay, you know.
So they don't give you a fake ID. Like they don't make it
No,
really
they
tricky
can't
on
do
you.
a fake ID. As long as you ask for the
Oh.
ID and you check it, and then you say, hey, you're not 21, you can't sit here. And then this random person that you didn't have any ID was in the restaurant will come back. Where's your manager? And she scares the crap out of you. And she's like, you did a great job. I was like, oh my God. You know? And I gave my employee a hug because it was my employee. And I was like, oh my gosh, good for you. You get to go home early today, you know?
That would be so tricky as a
Yeah.
business owner if like imagine a really like a employee you really liked just
Yeah.
made a mistake one day and it was just busy and just
yeah.
like yeah, of course, like just not looking like
Yeah.
that's you have a lot of like again trust in
No,
business
that is
on like
the-
every single person.
But at the same time, that the laws have to come first, like because if there is that mistake, whether it's busy or not, you know, it's there's a $5,000 fine for the business, and then the employee gets like a $1,500 fine,
Oh, jeez.
and they can lose their LLCC license. We can lose ours. Yeah, I mean, selling to minors is huge, so there's no excuse, honestly. But it is a mistake. But it's something that shouldn't be.
That'd kill to lose your liquor license.
We would be. Yeah, I don't want to think
You
about
still
that.
yeah. No need to.
Yeah, because we're not going to like our employees card like no one's business, and when they think I'm not watching, I'm watching and make sure that they card everybody that looks under 80.
You gotta.
Yeah, you have to.
I get it.
Yeah, and you know, if they go to sit at the bar and they even look 40, I'm said, John, did you card those?
What if they're regular? Because sometimes I go in places and I'm like, you've seen me, like Winco. I'm like, it's the same exact person that I've seen at the self-checkout every day for the past year. And I'm like, you really need to see my license again.
Unless you have ordered alcohol before, yes.
And
Yep.
I have.
Well, then no, I wouldn't.
And then you wouldn't. Okay, so there are signs. Okay, that
Absolutely.
makes
So
sense.
as long as
if
I've
it's a
seen
regular
it before,
you've
yeah,
seen, great.
yeah. So no, as if you came in every day, no, I wouldn't be carding you. No, that would be ridiculous.
Nelson's and the Whit, the best.
Yeah.
That was the coolest thing about all the videos is a lot of the your employees just talking about like they enjoyed the service aspect of it, and it is a really cool thing that does make you feel good to be like, oh, I'm doing a service to the community. Like I'm someone who is making people's days better, like taking that opportunity and using it. Like we stopped going to, I'll name it. I love Mod Pizza.
Yeah.
I even worked at Mod Pizza when
I
we
can
met.
see
I
that.
worked there for 1 month, and then I moved to Corvallis. But
Okay. I used to
we
live in Corvallis.
stopped going because one of the some of the employees are like some of my like I really liked them. Like they're so charming.
Yeah,
they're making
but-
it. They're charming. But then this one person it was at the end. They were like, at any time it was like, okay, I want to put sauce on. They were like, it's like they hated me.
Wow.
It's like they hated Kenzie. It's like it was just like a dreading being there, and I'm just like, that can kill an experience.
Yeah.
So it's like it is almost like half as important as the food is. Like,
yep.
Do I enjoy the time that I'm in there?
Yeah, and so that's been like super integral to our success, is just making sure that every interaction that our employees have with the guests from start to finish is what they would want from people, and even above that. So it's not right to have just good customer experience for our customers. We need to have the best customer experience, because honestly, we really do appreciate that. You know, and I want us.
It shows.
Yeah, we really
so
do.
Happy, and like it was fun to see, like when you guys were opening the restaurant, like all the people working together, and they were like so happy and like laughing, like having a good time. It's like it's so fun to work at places where you genuinely like coming to work.
I love going to work. Like I used to. Before it was our business, like when I worked at other businesses, I hated going to work.
Yeah.
You know, but it's honestly, it's the customers.
Yeah.
Like our customers like have changed me as a person. Like I used to just be an butthead. Sorry.
Till how long ago? Like when was this change?
When I would say a year after we opened the restaurant.
Not the cart, but the restaurant?
Yeah.
Okay. This like meeting you recently, I'm like, you used to seem very cold, or like a lot colder.
Absolutely
like you warmed up. I'm like, oh my god, TJ. Like I'm like, maybe like you didn't like me like as much like earlier.
It's
like
you guys.
It changed a lot.
You guys have changed me. Like I know, but I don't want to get emotional, but
no, I told him
it's noticeable. It's like
I told him made me so happy, and now I feel like I can stay away from the business because I can see he's now. He put his heart when he's working.
I know. I'm
so, and I go there for a few hours once a week, and I say I don't need to be here. I trust him. I can see the way.
But it's still good when you're there, because we love having you, and the customers love to see you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So what's that like? Not a lot of people do get changed when they're in their 30s, 40s. Like people are often like, no, I don't like people and I don't like them, or like, you know, so just having like what kind of, was it one customer, like one experience, or was it like, you know, like what kind of, not to like delve into it, if you do want to just get off of it, but essentially I'm so happy you said that, and I'm so happy you didn't say, oh, it was like 8 or 9 years ago, because then it would have been like, oh, maybe
I don't know a difference.
I was like, it was confirmation. Then I was like, okay, I didn't get a misread. It's like you did have a change in your life, because it's profound. I'm like, now I'm just like, wow, both of you guys are just like the same loving, awesome, happy like presence. It really is cool to be around. Yeah.
No, it wasn't a single person. It's just that I'm gonna try not to cry. Like people are just like seeing me for me, you know. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, it'd be a lot to essentially be working at a place and not just be yourself. Interesting that it's like people see you for
it's like
you.
a safe space.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it can be a lot to not be able to just be that. You really opened up the doors. Like you made it so all the customers coming in are people who are primed to like you. So that's really nice.
And that's cool. I mean, we literally don't have any mean customers. Knock on wood. But not a single one of them, the people that come in, like are mean. Like it's just like it's. I've never worked at a place where every single person comes in and they're happy, like to be there, you know. And it's just crazy, like just be so happy in life. Like I've never been happy, and to like finally be happy. Like our relationship is good, works great, you know. And so, yeah, it's just wonderful. Yeah,
happiness is an interesting thing of like you couldn't. Some people, I mean, celebrities kill themselves. It's like you could hypothetically have everything, but it's just like them odd like things can connect one day, and it's just like so that's so cool to hear that like essentially. And I guess I'm mostly asking because I'm like a lot of people are you 2 years ago, like so essentially it's like, you know, for some of those people it's like, man, like anything that you can talk about or share like options, show people that they can be happy or like they can be welcome, because first you do have to just start being yourself and be like, you know.
And that's really what it was. Yeah, because I was so used to working in customer service where like people treated the staff like garbage. Like they would just come in and just be so condescending. And I just started like, it just started building up in me, and like I just hated everyone, and I was mean to people just automatically because of how I was treated by the previous customer. And you know, you just got to realize that there is most of people are good, right? So the thing that I've really come to realize is love will always overpower the hate in life. And that is the truth. Like, most of the people that I've met in life, and even looking back, like maybe they were just having a bad day coming in, you know, and something that like I teach my employees from day one is the smile that you give the customer, that might be the only smile that that person sees all day, you know, and they're going to remember that interaction, you know, and it's just super important to realize that most people are good. They don't mean you harm, and just don't take it personally. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's nice that you've developed a space, because that is how I feel when I like see you and I like go into the restaurant. It's always just, it's a great place to be.
Seems like that's the only time you'd ever get an angry customer. I want Nelson! Nelson, bring him out here! TJ, go get him! Go home! Bring him back here! I'm waiting.
Now!
I will be there.
We do. I have had somebody like come in and be like, well, can you call him? And I'm like, he's at the gym doing a workout. I don't think so.
Call him on the phone now.
I was like, because I don't want to be mean to the customer, but it's like, how do you say no? Because he kept asking.
That'd be a funny skit, though. Like thinking about stuff like because it seems like your Facebook group is like probably the most popping Facebook group of, like, a lot of places don't have like a community.
Yeah.
You guys kind of have developed a community of people who know you. Think about how funny of a skit that would be, of like just someone coming in
be funny.
and being like,
that's a good idea for the next shoot.
Like, is Nelson here? And it's like, no. And then someone just like really like, and then it's just like what it's like internally, you know?
Yeah.
But then obviously it's building you up of like, you can't be always the one who cooks for every single person. So, you know, that'd be the downside, you know?
Yeah. And I'm trying to get him like more into the restaurant, but like, I know he's exhausted, but we do have people that ask if Nelson is a real person. They, you know, that is the common thing, because these people don't know him from the food truck. They just started coming once we opened the restaurant. And, you know, of course he's exhausted by the time we open. Like, of course he's not going to be there all night, you know. And I'm like, yeah, that's him. You know, the Best of Eugene photo right behind you.
The wall.
Smiling, cooking up a storm. That's him, you know. And so, yeah.
It's cool to have, because just obviously thinking about business names and stuff is like having the business be your name makes it really easy to just, I don't know, we've just been thinking about names a lot. Yeah. Because like the phrase good marketing works. It's like, oh, it's like, you know, fun and stuff, but the word marketing.
Yeah, is so loaded.
Yeah. It's good to hear. Like, everyone hates that term. I really, like, we at first we were like, oh yeah, but we'll be the good guys in marketing. Like, again, like you kind of mentioned, like you've had some bad experiences. Like, we're the people who come in and we're like, no, we're just taking photos and videos. There's nothing to be stressed about. Yeah. Whereas other photographers, like, we've worked with some video people who are just like stressed the whole time. Like, you're stressing me out. I'm not being filmed. I'm watching you. I'm like, chill the fuck out.
I know.
You know, so our goal is to be like, oh, we're the good guys in marketing. Yeah,
and just keep doing what you're doing. I would say, as far as like your interaction, don't change anything. Because you guys are just super lovely.
But was the name off-putting before?
What's
good marketing works?
Yeah. As just like an introduction, like imagine you haven't really interacted with us.
Or is it a name you'd suggest? Because word of mouth's a big thing, and we've never asked that question.
I feel like
I wouldn't be like, oh, well, you should hire these. Like, you'd probably just say Tiger and Kenzie would be.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we're just very one-on-one. We're very like, you know, we're very person-centric. Like, you're kind of hiring just as much of a service as like kind of an experience too.
Yeah, but I would figure out a way to showcase you guys, because you guys are fun to be around. You know, you have like a crazy sense of humor. You're always kind of like joking.
He's wild.
Yeah, which is very what's that word for like when it's drawing other people in?
Magnetic.
Yes. Yeah, very magnetic. And you just like your face like always lights up, and you have like the most beautiful smile. So you need to like find a way to like get your face attached to it. And that's what I've been doing on our Facebook and our Instagram is people want to see the Nelson's staff, and they want to see the team, and they want to see the employees, you know. So
yeah, you have some charismatic employees. We filmed a lot of people. Yeah. We filmed a lot of people.
Yeah.
And not as many Yeah, I don't even want to name them, but like the girl when she was like, "Oh, come on, try them on."
I know she was such a natural.
I was like, what the hell? I was like, not a lot of people are just like that. Like, oh, I'm more comfortable on camera than off camera.
And Thunder was incredible
wow.
too. He just was like second nature, and he was nervous. You had no idea he was nervous.
They all were just so photogenic.
And John, like he just killed it, and so everybody did such an incredible job.
Except Nelson. I don't know if we got a single video of you.
We didn't. Like, no, you did. It was 30 seconds long. Yep. Yes.
I haven't seen
a group
that
video, or maybe
no. It was very quick. I don't even know if it was 30 seconds long. It might have been 10.
I didn't realize you weren't going to be in the shoot the whole time. I didn't even think about it. So.
I thought he was going to be there too.
I'd like to just come over sometime and just let the camera roll for hours.
You can do that.
Like,
just be nervous all day.
Just hang out.
Yeah, that's funny.
But like you were kind of like you didn't really want to be on camera first, but then you did. Like it was pretty easy.
I'm just
right?
very self-conscious.
But why? Much like when I'm like Nelson, like exactly the way you're like Nelson. Why wouldn't you want someone filming you cook? Like, don't you kind of think of him in a way where it's like, or like, why wouldn't you want someone to film you? That's the same with you. I'd say, especially now. Like, if I knew you 2 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, he's a little cold.
Yeah,
but also, like now, I'm like, get the camera on that guy. Like,
But and that's great to like hear other people, but it's when it's yourself, like it's. I don't know. And I'm getting to be more confident. I've lost weight and stuff and like I'm exercising, but I'm getting there. I'm just not there yet, so.
I'd say you've lost it. Like, you look good now.
Thank you.
Like, I mean, it is interesting. We've worked with some people who, when we were working with them, they lost 20 pounds. And then, but we were working on the footage back when they weighed more. It's like, that can be tricky. Yeah. So it's like, yeah. I mean, I guess if you are in the middle of a transition, it could be hard to be like.
Yeah. Because you're not used to it. Mm-hmm. You gotta have time to kind of process and honestly the exercising is really just more for my like mental health. It's done a huge number on my mental health.
Yeah.
It's just
this has been a big year for you.
Yeah, it's
I mean, if you lost weight, you're mentally better. Yeah. Like that's life comes together at that point.
It's exercising and our customers and him and it's my employees and just I don't want anything to change, like I'm just so scared of like anything to happen. So, and what about you? Like, how has this year been for you? It's been a little challenging.
Did you flip-flop? Like,
What was the question?
If he's had like, I mean, imagine for the first decade of running the place, if he wasn't happy with customers, but that's like your biggest priority. It must have been hard to be like, no, like you give him a chance, you gotta love him. And now that he is it just like fine, like just super, like I mean, it's got to be like a really blissful, like nice. It happened. You had enough good customers that like it got through to you that it's not T-Mobile anymore. It's like like that must have been hard to just have.
Yeah,
like
He would hear me talking to customers in the food truck. He would wait till they left, and he would be like, "TJ, you cannot say that," because there's this song that it's. Are we allowed to cuss or not?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so the song is always it's like how it's like a 3-6 Mafia. They're like how. And so anytime I was really into it this one summer, and so the customers would come up and they would be like, "Can I get some chips and salsa?" And I was like, how? And he's like, "TJ, you can't say that to customers."
I like it.
Yeah.
I think it's hilarious.
And I would always say it to like a regular customer as like new, but still like I would never say that.
I can't do that.
I would never say that to my customer now. Even if I knew them like at a personal level, I would never even. I say it to like our staff, like John and Andy and I. We all do it together.
Sometimes for me, it's like I had to be honest. The new thing. Sometimes I call you beautiful, but now you are not beautiful anymore. Don't call me beautiful or don't call me handsome because I don't know what is it's a lot of things changing.
I think he means more in the terms of like
you're not beautiful anymore.
No, I think he means more in the term of like gender pronouns.
It's hard
he
to
know.
He
uses that term "my lady," and so we've gotten in we've had like
That's
more of a wake-up call.
It is.
We've gotten notes on receipts that have
And
said...
when you call hi handsome, like, don't call me handsome. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, so hard.
And it's
Just kill for the rest of us.
Well,
I
it's-
like it.
yeah, exactly.
I love it. I like coming in and being like, thank
Yeah.
you. And it's like, if that stops because
our
someone else is
logo.
like,
Hi, beautiful.
Yeah, 'cause
Hi,
they're-
handsome.
They're
Hi,
not
my
just saying,
lady.
don't call me handsome.
Yeah.
They're saying, kind of, don't call anyone.
And that won't ever change.
Unless-
we're
yeah.
going to keep saying hello, handsome, and hello, beautiful.
Good.
Because people like it, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
people love
I
it.
love it.
Yeah.
People love it.
I'm
And you
addicted.
make people
Yeah.
happy. You know.
it's you should see like the way that their face lights up when
Yeah,
they
that's
compliment
true.
people and they're like, "Hi, beautiful!" Like, "Oh my god!" But they really are beautiful, you know, like on the inside and outside, and we just want them to know that, you know, just all people are really.
We'll have to name the episode "Cooking Up Love" or "Cooking Up Happiness" or
There you
something.
go.
So it's 8:30, and we've rolled for an hour and 10 minutes, so
Cool.
we're happy.
Time flies.
perfect.
Yeah, like if you have any
This was
closing
fun.
thoughts or like, you know, essentially come, you know, obviously Valentine's Day. It might, I guess it's not going to come out before
That's
Valentine's
okay.
Day.
Those are
Yeah, it's going to
cool.
come out in 2 weeks.
So we'll let you go first. What do you have to say on closing remark?
So I have to say thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure to be here with my other half of my husband, of my business and crime. So I love you guys. We love you. And
We're going to be closer. We're bringing it
yes,
closer.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And next time we are going to invite you to our house and have a really good
Just gonna
dinner.
cook.
So
We are vegetarian at the house, though.
Love it.
Okay, I don't allow any meat in my kitchen.
I love it.
Yeah.
yes.
Sweet.
And no, thank you for the time. Thank you for being here. And I'm so happy to see your beautiful work. I know it's been there because it's already, for me, it's the third time working with you guys. We did the 1 second in the opening, and this one for me is the number 3. So
Oh, because we did the Arcimoto is what you're thinking of as the
we
first
do
one.
the podcast.
Oh, the podcast.
Yeah,
Yes, the podcast.
then
Yeah.
the opening for the business, and now we are here sitting. No, we do the
Yeah.
for the Valentine's
Yeah, so
Day.
this is a fourth time.
That's the
Yeah.
fourth time. So, and I have to say,
Wow.
guys, you are amazing, and we can wait to work with spring and summer to do beautiful shoot on the outdoor and in the indoor. People see how beautiful looks the outdoor seating from the
Thank you.
Nelson's in the Whit.
I love it. And thank you for giving a heads up about the photos of the products because I'm going to be thinking about it.
Yeah, I love it.
Because I just hate like I really do hate doing work that I'm like wouldn't want to like ideally everything could be used as like we have high standards. So like knowing ahead of time it like makes things a lot
You can plan
funner.
it, you can create your ideas, and so for my closing, I would just like to tell you guys that you're awesome. That I would just say stick with it. I mean, times are going to be hard, but if you can continue to just keep producing like the quality of work that you guys are doing, it's going to be worth it. You're going to have detractors. There's going to be road bumps in the way. But just roll with the punches and don't let anybody or anything stop you. You have to know that you're the best. Okay. Because you guys are.
Coming from the best. Like,
And we've worked with a
it
lot.
actually means something coming from you, which is great.
And I wouldn't
They're
just
the best
say
at it.
that.
You're the best at your craft. So I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
I wouldn't
That's
just
very
say that. If you guys ever need anything, definitely just reach out on it. And I'm not just saying that. We want to thank you for your coming to us since basically you guys moved into the neighborhood. And so I thank you for giving me a second chance too, because I definitely remember there was a couple times at the food truck where I was a dick. I absolutely.
Yeah.
I would apologize. I am sorry for that. Okay.
That's fine.
Nobody makes that transformation. Like nobody does that.
Yeah.
So props. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I would be like, no apologies.
I'm
needed.
not-
I'm just
yeah.
so
It's
happy
just-
because you're showing other people that it's
Yeah.
like you don't always have to be cold. You
Yeah.
can be
Just
warm
let
and loving.
shit go.
That's so cool.
Yeah, just
like,
let
that's
it
so
fucking
cool.
go.
Yeah.
You know, everyone deserves a second chance, and
Yeah, I agree.
there's more love in this world than there is negativity, even nowadays. And like he said, I just can't wait to work with you guys. You're going to be our like first go-to. So so if there's like social media stuff you guys want us to do, I know I said we're going to do a post. So if you guys like have a photo, I want to get a photo of you two with your business name on it. that I can post on like on our business page. We're up to 4.1 thousand followers now.
But it's not like sometimes 4.1 thousand means 10 likes. Like you guys actually have a thriving Facebook.
They're actually all in Eugene.
Yeah, it's wild. Like you guys kind of make me be like, Facebook isn't dead. It's like an actual place, which is really cool.
Yep, it's not dead. Yeah, we market the shit out of our shit.
Awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be the most helpful thing, just because word of mouth and just like the social proof of people like, oh, cool. Like if they, so that would mean the world. Thank you so much. And I did
talk to Mandy about you on Sunday.
Oh, cool.
Because I know we had talked about her before. She said that she's gonna get a hold of you guys.
Awesome.
So hopefully she'll be reaching out to you.
Sweet.
Yeah, and if anybody asks us, I'm gonna send them your way.
Nice.
That's amazing.
It's an unusual thing, so we would never. Hey, who do you guys use for fun? You know, but like maybe
we get that all the time.
Do you really? That's so great. Then awesome.
Oh, do you guys know a good photographer who does all your social media?
Oh yeah, they do.
Right?
Yeah. Because it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
It's really beautiful.
It's like when I take the photos, I mean, you know that it's TJ taking the photos, and it still works, you know, but it doesn't look like professional.
We do what Nelson does with burritos. Like,
exactly.
We do put love into it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Absolutely. Awesome. And it's just so much better when you guys take our stuff. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. For my closing thought is go to Nelson's in the Whit or do you call it Nelson's Taqueria? Is that
that's the name?
Okay. Am I saying it right?
Yeah. You say it right. Yes,
I actually had it spelled Taco Rita.